everything else is lost, the future still remains. Bové, a field after a storm. Houses may collapse, trees may lie broken, but the seeds still rest quietly beneath the brown soil, waiting for the day they sprout. It speaks of those moments when a person feels they have reached the very bottom of loss, when fame, money, relationships, or pride abandon us one by one. Yet what remains is not absolute emptiness, but an unwalked path, a tomorrow yet to be written. The future, in that saying, is not a fanciful promise, but a possibility, a right to hope, to start over, to change. It is like the dawn that always appears after the darkest night, no matter how weary we are and how tightly we close our eyes. The deeper meaning of the quote lies in the fact that it does not deny the pain of loss, but places that pain within a larger order, where a person can still stand up, brush the dust from their shoulders, and move forward. In this way, the quote spreads a very quiet, positive energy. It does not force us to be optimistic. It only gently reminds us that life has not yet closed its doors, and that very reminder is enough to make the listener feel comforted, as if a hand were placed on their shoulder, helping them believe that no matter how empty the present feels, tomorrow is still waiting. The best way to have an excellent idea is to have a lot of ideas. A great river is formed from countless small streams. Not every drop is crystal clear or powerful, but it is the presence of all of them that creates the enduring flow. A good idea rarely appears like a lightning bolt from nowhere. It is usually honed and distilled from dozens, even hundreds, of fragmented, incomplete thoughts, some that may even seem foolish. People dare to think a lot, think broadly, and think without fear of being wrong, because every ordinary idea today could be the paving stone for a great discovery tomorrow. It is much like sowing seeds. Not every seed will sprout, but if we sow only one, it is hard to expect a harvest. In the world of creativity, an abundance of ideas is the fertile soil where the very best thoughts have the chance to be born. The positive meaning of the quote lies in freeing people from the pressure of always having to be right or outstanding from the very start. Instead, it encourages a spirit of experimentation, patience, and constant mental activity. When we accept having many ideas, we also accept the journey of learning, making mistakes, and growing. And within that journey, an excellent idea is no longer something out of reach. It becomes the natural result of a rich, open mind that never stops seeking. There is never such a thing as the right time. Kevin Plank. We stand forever on the shore, waiting for the perfect wave before daring to step into the water, only to realize the ocean never promised such perfection. In human thinking, the right time is often painted as an ideal moment when we are skilled enough, confident enough, prepared enough, and safe enough. But in reality, life rarely arranges everything neatly to wait for us to begin. There are always shortcomings, worries, risks, and fear. It does not deny the value of preparation, but emphasizes that action cannot be imprisoned by endless waiting. It is like a gentle tug on the sleeve, reminding us that time does not stand still waiting for us to be ready. It is precisely in those not yet enough moments that people learn to adapt, grow, and discover their hidden strength. If we keep waiting for the right time, we may miss an entire journey worth living. The positive meaning of the quote lies in handing back the initiative to people. It is not circumstances that decide when we start, but our decision to start that creates the circumstances. Like lighting a candle in a dark room, the light does not need perfect conditions to appear. It only needs to be struck. And when we dare to move forward, even when not fully ready, we realize that the right time is actually born from our own courage. Always be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of someone else. Judy Garland. The core value of each person, it is like a flower born to bloom in its own way, without needing to bend its petals to resemble another admired species. In life, people easily get caught in the whirlwind of comparison, seeing others' success and trying to imitate it, seeing others' paths and doubting their own. Imitation, no matter how sophisticated, only creates a pale copy, lacking soul. Each individual carries a unique combination of experiences, emotions, abilities, and limitations. That is what makes the first-rate version irreplaceable. Being yourself does not mean refusing to learn. It means knowing how to filter and transform what you absorb into material that fits your own identity. It is like cooking, the same ingredients, but each chef creates a different flavor, reflecting their personality and soul. When we stop trying to live according to others' molds, we stop making life difficult for ourselves with standards that do not belong to us. From then on, people live more authentically, more steadily, and more enduringly on their own journey. The positive energy the quote brings is not loud. It quietly strengthens self-respect and confidence. The world does not need another copy. It needs people who dare to be themselves, whole and unique. And when we accept that, life becomes lighter because we no longer have to chase someone else's shadow, but can walk in our own light. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. Socrates, 3 different levels of intellect. At the highest level, great minds look beyond the present, passionately engaging with ideas, abstract concepts, possibilities not yet formed, what if, questions that could change how the world works. Ideas are like the vast sky. The more you look, the more space you see to soar. At the next level, average minds anchor themselves in events. What has happened? What is happening? Things real and verifiable. This is not wrong, for events are the solid ground of perception. But stopping there makes it hard for thought to break beyond the limits of the present. And at the lowest level, when conversation revolves around people, gossip, judgment, comparison, the mind gradually narrows, like a windowless room where energy is wasted on things that create no lasting value. Not meant to belittle anyone, but rather like a mirror for each person to look into. What do we spend most of our time on? The quality of our thinking determines the quality of our life. When people learn to shift their focus from talking about others to reflecting on ideas, they begin to grow in both intellect and soul. It does not force or judge. It simply opens a clear path for those who wish to rise higher. Because, in the end, it is ideas, not rumors or fleeting events, that endure and shape a person's value in this vast world. To find yourself, learn to think independently. Socrates. In a world where opinions, trends, and norms spread as fast as the wind, people easily live with borrowed thoughts, borrowed emotions, and dreams that belong to others. We grow accustomed to nodding with the crowd, believing what is repeated often, until we forget to ask ourselves, what do I really think? What do I really want? Independent thinking is not about opposing or rejecting everything. It is the ability to pause and listen to oneself amid countless external voices. It is like stepping away from a rushing river to hear the heartbeat of the earth, where the truest thoughts still quietly exist. When people learn to think independently, they begin to see the world through their own eyes, unclouded by prejudice or imposed expectations. From there, the self is no longer something to search for, far away. It gradually emerges through every choice and every value preserved. Freedom to doubt, to filter, to agree or refuse consciously. And in that process, people not only find themselves, but also learn to stand firm, calm, and true to the path they have chosen. Because in the end, only when we dare to think with our own mind can we live with our own life. The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Socrates, how people face transformation and growth. A wise gardener. Instead of spending the whole day angrily pulling weeds, they choose to sow healthy seeds, letting new life gradually overtake the barren. The old here is not just habits, mistakes, or a heavy past, but also fears, regrets, and the feeling of being stuck in familiar loops. When we obsess over resisting them, energy is drained in struggle, like swimming against a strong current without getting far. A gentler, more effective direction. Instead of asking how to destroy it, ask, what do I want to create? Building the new requires patience, focus, and faith, but it carries clear, tangible hope. Every small action toward the future is like laying another brick for one's own new house. When we look back, we realize the old has naturally become out of place and lost its hold. From confrontation to creation, from resentment to initiative, it does not deny what has passed, but places it in its proper position like a foundation that has fulfilled its purpose. And when people dare to pour their mind into building, change is no longer a tiring battle, but becomes a creative journey, where every step feels like moving toward the light of a new future. True wisdom is knowing how little we know about life, about ourselves, and about the world around us. Socrates, a calm water surface reflects the vast sky. It does not praise vast knowledge or showy intellect, but honors the ability to pause, bow one's head, and acknowledge one's own limits. People often mistake knowing more for being wiser. Yet, it opens a deeper layer. The more we learn and experience, the more we realize how complex and immense the world truly is. Life is like an endless ocean, while each person's knowledge is only a small cup scooped from its waves. When we understand that, we stop rushing to judge, stop overconfident in our narrow perspective. Recognizing the scantness of our knowledge does not weaken us. On the contrary, it nurtures openness, curiosity, and a lifelong spirit of learning. We begin to listen more, ask more questions, and accept that we too can be wrong. That wisdom is like a gentle light, not blinding, but enough to illuminate the inner path, helping us live more slowly, more deeply, and more sincerely with ourselves. When we no longer have to prove we know everything, we feel lighter and more ready to grow. And in that humility, people find a lasting form of wisdom, the wisdom of those who understand that learning is a lifelong journey. And the greatest wisdom sometimes begins with daring to admit there is still so much we do not know. To become something, you must act first. Socrates, a knock echoing in the mind of someone hesitating at the threshold of their own life. Every title, every dream, every better version of ourselves does not arise from intention or promise alone, but from concrete steps, however small and imperfect. People often like to wait until skilled enough to act, wait until confident enough to begin, wait for a better day. It flips that familiar logic, showing that action itself creates readiness, creates ability, and creates the person we wish to become. It is like learning to swim. No one truly knows how to swim just by standing on the shore, analyzing the water. Only by daring to step in, trembling and clumsy, does the body learn to float and move forward. Action here does not demand greatness from the start. It demands the courage to begin with the small and the incomplete. Every action is like a brushstroke, and who we become is the painting formed from countless strokes. We are not trapped in not yet being anything, because the moment we act, we have already begun the process of becoming. It does not promise an easy path, but affirms one certainty. Without action, there is no transformation. And when people realize that, they stop waiting for an ideal version to appear in the future and start building it right now with quiet but steadfast steps. Know thyself, Socrates. On the journey of life, we often chase recognition from the outside, try to understand others, please the world, and forget to listen to our own emotions, desires, and limits. Knowing oneself is not a sudden act, but a slow process, like looking in a mirror under soft light, not just seeing the surface, but recognizing the cracks, the hidden corners, and the quiet strengths. When we know ourselves, we know what hurts us, what brings us joy, and what truly matters. That is when people stop chasing borrowed values and stop comparing their life to others. Self-knowledge brings a profound freedom. Freedom to choose, to refuse, to live in one's own rhythm. It is like holding an inner map, helping us not easily lose our way at life's crossroads. It does not force us to be perfect. It encourages us to be honest. Understanding oneself also means accepting oneself, both flaws and untapped potential. And when people truly know themselves, they become calmer and steadier because they no longer live in inner conflict. From that foundation, every relationship, every decision, and every dream becomes clearer, more authentic, and more lasting.